66 million years ago, the world was a paradise of green forests and warm, shallow seas. But in just 60 minutes, that entire world would be erased forever. Imagine standing on a coastline in what we now call Mexico on a morning that felt like any other. The sun is shining, the air is thick and humid, and the sound of life is everywhere. You would see giant reptiles soaring through the sky and massive long-necked creatures grazing on the lush trees. None of them have any idea that a rock the size of Mount Everest is currently screaming toward them at 40,000 miles per hour. This rock is so large that even as its bottom touches the ground, its top is still higher than the clouds where commercial jets fly today. In the first few seconds of those 60 minutes, the asteroid hits the Earth with a force so powerful it is almost impossible to describe. It doesn't just land, it punches a hole through the entire crust of the planet. The ground under the impact is vaporized instantly, turning from solid rock into glowing gas. A flash of light blazes across the horizon, a light so bright that any living thing for thousands of miles that looks at it is blinded in a heartbeat. This is the moment the clock starts. In the first 10 minutes, a massive wall of fire and compressed air races outward from the crash site. This is called the thermal pulse, and it moves faster than the speed of sound. It is an invisible wall of heat so intense that trees, plants, and even the dinosaurs themselves simply burst into flames before the wind even reaches them. If you were standing hundreds of miles away, you wouldn't even hear the explosion yet, but you would feel the air around you suddenly turn as hot as an oven. At the same time, the impact creates a massive shockwave in the ground. It is an earthquake so powerful that it cannot be measured on any scale we use today. The entire Earth begins to ring like a bell. Mountain ranges thousands of miles away would feel the ground move up and down by several feet. Volcanoes that have been sleeping for centuries are shaken awake, and the very floor of the ocean begins to buckle. By 20 minutes in, the ocean has reacted to the blow. Because the asteroid hit the shallow water of the coast, it pushed billions of tons of water out of the way. This creates a tsunami that is not just a wave, but a wall of water nearly 2 miles high. This skyscraper of water begins to race across the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, swallowing entire islands and coastlines in seconds. But something even stranger is happening in the sky. When the asteroid hit, it launched billions of tons of vaporized rock high into space. Now, that rock is cooling down and falling back to Earth as tiny glass pebbles called spherules. There are so many of these pebbles falling at such high speeds that the friction with the air begins to heat the entire atmosphere. The sky stops being blue and starts glowing a terrifying, angry red. The air becomes so hot that forests across entire continents begin to spontaneously catch fire all at once. The world is no longer a forest, it is a global furnace. 30 minutes after the impact, the sound finally arrives. For those far away from the crash, the silence of the red, glowing sky is broken by a roar that is louder than 1,000 thunderstorms happening in your ears at once. The sound is so deep and powerful it can be felt in the chest of every animal left alive. The dinosaurs that survived the initial heat and the earthquake are now terrified, wandering through smoke and falling ash. The sky is getting darker because the soot from the global forest fires is mixing with the dust from the impact. The bright morning has turned into a brown, dusty twilight. Ash begins to fall like snow, but it is hot and suffocating. Small mammals and lizards are scurrying into burrows deep underground, which is the only reason they have a chance to survive. They are hiding from a world that is literally burning above their heads. By 50 minutes in, the first giant waves are hitting the shores of distant continents. The ocean is reclaiming the land, bringing with it the bodies of sea creatures and shattered pieces of the Earth's crust. The atmosphere is now filled with sulfur because the asteroid hit a part of the Earth rich in gypsum. This sulfur is mixing with moisture to create acid rain that stings the skin and poisons the lakes. The heat from the falling space pebbles is starting to fade, but it is being replaced by a deep, unnatural chill. The soot and dust have now formed a thick blanket around the entire planet, blocking out the sun completely. The 60 minutes are almost up, and the transformation is complete. The world has gone from a sunny paradise to a pitch-black, freezing, and poisonous wasteland. As the final minutes of the hour pass, the age of the giants has effectively ended. While some dinosaurs would linger on for a few weeks or months, their fate was sealed in that first hour. They were built for a world of plenty, a world of sun and green leaves. That world no longer exists. The darkness will now last for years. The plants will die because they cannot see the sun, and the food chain will collapse from the bottom up. The only things left will be the small, the hiding, and the lucky. It is a haunting thought that every human being alive today owes their existence to those 60 minutes of horror. If that rock had been a few seconds later or earlier, it would have hit the deep ocean. The impact would have been cushioned, and the dinosaurs might still be walking outside your window today. But instead, the sky fell, the earth burned, and in just 1 hour, the story of our world was rewritten forever by a lonely traveler from the stars. In our next video, I'll be talking about NASA's current discovery in the second moons just discovered. Stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share for more space updates.